Greetings, and welcome back to the MCOC Encyclopedia. On our previous video on Quake, a lot of people said that yes, she's overpowered, but her damage is still quite low. So let's have a look at her sister-in-arms, the slightly less powerful but with much more damage, Magik. Magik, as a champion, is even older than Quake in MCOC, somehow. But she has been changed slightly since her initial release. She got a small tune-up and have been given many synergies over the years, 4 of which we're using here today, along with max boosts and a 3-1-3-3 recoil setup. Magik is really synonymous with her Special 2 and her Limbo, so let's have a look at them separately. Magik Special 2 will drain 1 bar of power from the opponent, or up to, and give it to Magik. That by itself is fairly powerful, but not ludicrously so. What is ludicrous is the fact that your opponent is then power locked for 9 seconds. They can gain no power for 9 seconds, and that is plenty of time for you to get back to a Special 2. You can just backdraft or stun, or you can just spam heavies like this. Plenty of time. It's kind of like playing Medusa with her power lock versus robots, against everyone. And if you get some big crits on the Special 2, even this 5-star Magik can hit for about 70k on the Special 2. So if she was released as a 7-star, as a rank 3, we're looking at about 2 and a bit times the damage of a maxed out 5-star, meaning we'd be looking at 150k special attacks on a champion that can also completely deny the opponent from doing anything at all. That was a 1 minute 20 Captain Marvel fight. The AI was a bit fiddly in places, but 1 minute 20 is not bad, and this is a 5-star champion. Up against Juggernaut, if he can never throw a special attack, he can't really do anything useful. Unfortunately, Realm of Legends AI is what it is, so he throws it straight into my hard block, but as soon as that Unstoppable's run out, and he's only just stopped being power locked, it's now not going to be very difficult for us to get to a Special 2 of our own, and that's the last special attack we're going to see for the entire fight. Now, the other part of Magik, one that perhaps you're more familiar with from a defensive standpoint, is her Limbo. She has a chance to gain this when awakened whenever she goes over a bar of power, and the bigger the bar of power she goes over, the higher chance it has to proc, but it also procs on any of her special attacks. Now, this isn't too bad. It inflicts some damage on you, which a lot of people will say means she can't be any higher because as a defender she'd be monstrous, and we'll have a look at that a bit later. But what is absurd about it is it heals back any damage you take whilst the Limbo is active. And this includes recoil, which is fantastic because that makes her very, very recoil friendly. So we're just going to go for one more Special 2, and that was Realm of Legends Juggernaut in 1 minute 19. Now, okay, I get it. Realm of Legends, it is what it is. It's not overly difficult. This is Act 7. This is 7.1.5 Terax on unlimited power. Now, Terax deals a lot of rubbish damage via his rock shield, but if we just, we can regenerate most of it from our Limbo. Also, the armor breaks are quite helpful. And that's it. Oh no, we're taking some hits from this Terax. Okay, we just healed that all back. We healed for 11,000. But also this Terax is stacking up Furies, and a lot of them. He's currently at 13 Furies, and when it goes round again, I think it'll be at about 30. Let's see, ping, 27. Each one of those Furies is a 25% Fury, which means he is dealing, his base attack is now utterly insane, meaning even his blocked hits are dealing thousands of damage. Now, Magik Special 1 can nullify 1 buff on the opponent, and that's not hugely helpful, but her Special 3 can nullify every buff on the opponent, and, there's one little bit of extra use to her Special 3 as well. It gains increased attack for every buff on the opponent, so with 45 buffs, that was a cool 230k Special 3. Now, evidently, that fight wasn't hard enough for Magik, so we're in our 8.3.2. This is our testing Superior Iron Man on the Special 2 path. We are taking some bleed damage here, that's just from the node, but we can heal most of it back up with Limbo and throw a Special 1 of our own to disable the node. So now we're going to be going for our Special 2. In this fight, Superior Iron Man will be gaining a lot of armors, so they will be cutting our non-crit damage quite a lot, and even with a big boost on the Special 2, even through all of that armor, her Special 2, it still does respectable damage, but regardless, this fight is pretty much locked down now. we can just spam heavies. He can't gain any power, so we just spam to special 2, and that's pretty much it. If you're a better Magic player than I am, you'll be able to stand up intercept much more reliably, which is another way of playing Magic. But let's nullify one of those. Whenever we nullify a buff on our special 1, it does deal a burst of about 5,000 damage, which in the modern state of the game is pretty negligible. He's now up to 8 armors, but if our special 2 would just crit, I think she does alright. Act 8 fight, 1 minute. This is a 5-star Magic. So now we are looking at, this is our Battlegrounds simulator. This is a 7-star rank 3 Hyperion. Yes, I am still using synergies, which you would be correct in saying is, that's not particularly realistic for Battlegrounds. But 1, the synergies don't actually add that much. It's a bit more damage. And 2, this is a 5-star. Cut me some slack. Hyperion does have, his slightly annoying power gain to begin with, but as soon as we hit a special 2 of our own, this fight's going to be pretty much over. We've taken about 10% damage from recoils, which is what I'd expect to take in any given fight. Oh no, we took some blocked hits and we're just back to 90%. Her sustainability with recoils is very, very high. And now this Hyperion can gain all the power gain buffs he wants, but he's completely locked down. More damage than Quake, but less utility. You still have to hit the opponent, but they can't really do a huge amount. As long as your parries are on point, they will stay in the corner. I meant to close out the fight there with a special 1, but a few more hits, and a 7-star rank 3 Hyperion, 1 minute. Now, 7-star Gallon has just been announced, so would she be a viable option for Gallon? And the answer is, well, yeah, to be honest. I play rather poorly in this fight, so I'm going to eat some special 1s. I would have sworn I was holding block, but hey-ho. But again, the story is pretty much the same. Once we get to a special 2 of our own, the fight's pretty much over. No limbo there, so we can't regenerate it, which is slightly unfortunate. Again, I could have sworn I was holding block, but whatever. Now, Gallon is not immune to power drain, but he is immune to power lock, and I'm not running a striker on my Magic, and he likes to throw special straight into my block, and again, we get clipped by his thing there. We'll do a video on how to dex Gallon special 1, I need to learn. But that doesn't mean Magic doesn't have more than enough power to keep him completely locked down. We can throw special 2s, and this is a 7-star rank 3 Gallon. Yes, we've lost all the health, just ignore that. 20k plus some burst. Rank 3 Gallon, 50 seconds. Now, let's have a look at what Magic would be like on defense. And I'm going to compare her to Domino, because they both deal kind of rubbish energy damage. Magic whenever she gains her Limbo, and Domino whenever she crit fails you. If we compare a 4-star Domino to a 4-star Magic, Magic does 57.7% the damage that Domino does. If we compare, this is at Magik by the way, if we compare a 5-star Magic to a 5-star Domino, Magic does 57.7%. So we can assume that for 6 and 7 stars, it would be exactly the same. So given the numbers here, a 7-star Domino at rank 4 at max sig would be ticking for a bit over 1500 per tick, which is just a horrific amount of damage to think about. Magic would be dealing about 57.7% of that damage. This comes out to about 908 damage before you take into account things like energy resistance. The problem here is that Domino's damage is not affected by any modifiers, whereas Magic's damage is. Which means if you are running her on defense and there is a plus 100% attack node, this does not affect Domino, but it does affect Magic. This means if Magic was ever released as a high tier defender, any time she's placed somewhere with massive amounts of damage increase, her Limbo would just be off the charts. Whilst I don't think Magic will, in her current state, ever be released as a higher tier champion because of her ability to just shut down a lot of fights, if when 8 stars are a thing, 6-star Magic came out, it is possible this might be tweaked to be base attack only. I don't know, that's just my theory. So, there you have it, a quick look into 5-star Magic. More damage than Quake, but less utility, still overpowered. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments down below, and consider joining the Discord server linked in the description. A great place to get specific advice, make suggestions for future topics, and while I'm awake, I do my best to be there as much as possible. Thank you, and I will see you next time.